What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I am so glad you're here because you could be doing anything else, but yet you guys decide to keep hanging out on Straight Talk, and I am super grateful. And as you know, we are on here to discuss real life topics to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Now, I go around this really beautiful planet of ours because it is a beautiful planet, and I find the best humans on it to bring them on here so that they can discuss things that make you think about things a little bit differently. Now, I have the perfect guy for you today, and his name is Erwin Wils, and he's a mindset and business strategist. He's a podcaster, a professional hypnotherapist. I mean, this guy has like a really great bio, by the way, guys. So we're going to get into all of that. Master of Science and an electrical engineer. And what he loves to do is empower women and tech entrepreneurs to boost their business and themselves so that they can confidently deliver their added value without feeling like an imposter. I so want to talk to you about the imposter syndrome thing. And so he brings 25 years of experience to show his clients how they can use their expertise to make a positive impact in the world and make a good living at it. And you know what, Erwin? First of all, thank you for coming onto Straight Talk. I love these kind of conversations. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, wow, what an introduction, Nina. I feel honored. So, and thanks for having me in the show.
Oh, I'm really glad you're here. I mean, you're touching on a lot just in your bio, a lot of little topics that I really love to talk about. Especially the imposter syndrome and how to use your expertise to make an impact, right? Because most of us, because we feel like imposters, don't realize all of the expertise that we do bring into the world. So before we get into all the nitty gritties, Erwin, I do like to let my audience know a little bit more about you. So why don't we just find out who is Erwin? Who is Erwin Wils? Who are you?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm from the Netherlands. I would say, a down to earth guy. Um, I'm married. I have two adopted boys. You can see them in the background if
Aw.
you have visuals. And they're actually the reason why I got on into this entrepreneurial journey. I've always been looking for ways to add value. Um, and I thought it was in process optimization. I had like 22 years of experience in that. And in 2014, I thought to myself, you can optimize a process and have all the graphs and reports to validate this optimization. But if the people that are using the process don't change, the process itself won't change.
Mm.
So, how do I get those people to change as well? And I thought about doing a training on NLP, and I actually didn't know what it meant. Yeah, I knew it
Mhm.
was short for neurolinguistic
Same.
programming, of course, and that
Right.
it had to do with behavioral change. But that was like all the information I had, and I started doing a little research. Found an ebook that had a different view, a different approach on NLP, and it more or less stated that NLP was some sort of hypnosis, and that intrigued me because I'm a very responsible person. I like to be responsible for my own actions,
Mm.
and hypnosis was. I had a feeling I wouldn't be in control. I would be a puppet in the hands of the hypnotist, right?
Right.
So I would never go that path. Yet, how could NLP, which is a business training in the Netherlands, how could it be considered to be a part of hypnosis? I couldn't make that match in my mind.
Mhm.
So I read another ebook where all my presuppositions about hypnosis were swept off the table, and that intrigues me even more. So I came up following a webinar, um, and they were talking about regression, and simply said that you
Mhm.
can go back in the past, solve things without accusing anybody. And I thought, I could actually help my boys with it. Like I said, I have
Wow.
two adopted boys, and I truly believe they're more intelligent than it shows on in the classrooms. But they both have like what we would say a backpack. They've been separated from the biological parents,
Yeah.
so they got a history with them, right? And my wife thought the same, and she said, we should actually do the training. If only we could help the boys with that. And that's how I came into doing a hypnosis training. And after the first training weekend, you could say I was sold because everything I loved came together. Because
Mm.
I love to help people, but in a coaching way. And with hypnosis or hypnotherapy, the changes come from within the
Mhm.
client, right? So I'm not telling you how to behave differently. It's your subconscious that comes up with the solution, and that's the beauty of it.
Mhm.
My work needs a challenge, and since every person is unique, every new client, every new session is a new challenge for me, and that makes it fun for me. And I'm still optimizing processes, but very complex ones, those of the internal human being.
Right.
So I started my entrepreneurial journey 7 years ago. Started out as a hypnotherapist, and I saw a lot of unused potential with my clients. Yet they didn't come to me to activate this unused potential. They came to me to get rid of a challenge they had.
Mm.
So that's why I changed towards coaching, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So, why did you decide on doing, the what did you do? You're doing women, female, oh, tech entrepreneurs, right? So, female and tech entrepreneurs. What made you go into that niche and not into maybe the youth, like since you did it with your boys, or why this? Why this?
Yeah. Well, when we started our company back in 2015, I started together with my wife, and she had a background in education, primary school. So she was going to focus on children, and I was going to focus on young adults and above.
Okay.
Um, so when I changed my focus towards coaching, um, it's difficult to choose your own niche, and I think a lot of starting entrepreneurs can recognize themselves in that. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
if you are trained and you get tools to help everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
you want to help everybody, you're
Yeah.
actually helping nobody because
Right.
you don't give them a reason to come to you, right?
Right. Right. I say
But
that all the time.
yeah, but especially when you're just starting, you know, you're also you want the income, right? You don't want
Right.
to say no to certain clients
Right.
because you can help them actually, right?
Right. Right.
Yet there's a difference between the people you help and the marketing message you're sending out.
Right.
And that was like my one of my first lessons in my entrepreneurial journey.
Mhm.
And so it has been quite a challenge for me to find my own niche.
Mhm.
And it was until 2019 when I started working with a client in the US that she challenged me to look at my own niche. And I thought, why don't I focus on tech entrepreneurs? Because I've got a technical background with my
Right.
electrical engineering master's degree. I've
Right.
worked in the tech space for 22 years. So it seemed logical to focus on the tech entrepreneurs. And they are they have a lot of presuppositions about themselves,
Mhm.
and you can
Mhm.
actually recognize them as well. Most of them are introverts, so which means they don't like to speak in public. They think they can't sell. They use jargon a lot, which means when you talk like 2 minutes with them, you're losing the content of the conversation because you have no clue what they're talking about. And most of them are selling the tools instead of the results that the client is actually looking for.
Right.
I like to use the example of an let's say an Apple iPod. That you have two advertisements. One of them says 4 gigabytes internal memory. The other one says 200 hours music in your back pocket.
Right.
Now,
Right.
what does the client want? The client wants 200 hours music in the back pocket.
Mhm.
What's my client selling? 4 gigabytes internal memory because that's exactly what they're getting.
Right. Right. That
So
makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so that was my first niche, so to speak.
Yeah.
And end of last year, I got a lot of female clients as well, and I do recognize a lot of similarities with them. At least with the clients that came to me. They were also introverts, which means they don't like to speak in public and speak out for themselves.
Mhm.
Um, they think they can't sell, and what I recognize with them as well is that they make themselves very small. They think they don't have enough knowledge, not enough experience, not enough wisdom to help the clients the best
Right.
they can.
Right.
They need to follow like 4, 5, 10 different courses and trainings before they think they got enough material to help the clients the best they can, and there are always other people that are better than themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I'm laughing because I know that people who are listening are saying, yep, yep. Yes, Erwin. Yes, yes, Erwin. Yes, and because I speak to a lot of my community, right? So I speak
Hmm.
a lot to my listeners and stuff, and they all struggle with this, at some point in their journey. But you're absolutely right, Erwin. I mean, how many? I think about myself when I started this journey many years ago. Like how many webinars, courses, books. Like I read so many trying to make myself, already like learn more and be the expert of something I'm already an expert in, but you just start to go with the imposter syndrome. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about because I know that you deal with that, right? So you deal with
Yeah.
you help your clients with that. So can you tell us, or for those who are listening and hearing your voice for the first time, what's your take on imposter syndrome? Well, how do you define it?
Um, I define it as people look at other people, successful people, um, and they want to reach the same success, and they try to copy them.
Mhm.
And I did
Mhm.
it when I just started. I did the same. I wanted to have
Yeah, me
success,
too.
so I
Yeah.
listened to a lot of people and I copied them. And then you realize it's not a part of you, and
Right.
if it's not you, you're not successful in it.
Right.
And for instance, if I take the example of a lot of people think they can't sell, right? It has nothing to do with the definition of selling is wrong, right?
Right. Right.
There are a lot of how do you say, stigmas about selling.
Mhm.
If you talk about very successful salespeople, a lot of people think of this car salesman, the sleazy car
Mhm.
salesman that would sell his mother-in-law if it would bring enough money in. The door-to-door salesman, the what was it called? The Amazing Discovery from back in the days on television, right?
Mhm.
Yet, in my opinion, the best salespersons are children and your friends and family, right?
Mm.
Why
Yeah.
children? Because
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Do you have children, Nina?
Yeah, they're all adults now, but yes, I do.
Okay. Well, when your kids were small, did you ever had the experience when one of them came to you asking for candy and you said no? That the kid was okay, fine. I just go play again.
No, not my
Right.
kids.
No, exactly. Well, they did everything. Either they started nagging or
Yeah.
uh,
Explaining the reason. They tried to
explaining the
explain.
reason. They became
Right.
very sad. Yeah, this great Bambi eyes they put on.
Right.
Super friendly. They did everything to get this candy. Right.
Right.
If they
Right.
didn't succeed with you, they went to the father. And if
Right.
the grandparents were there, you weren't even asked because they knew
Right.
they would succeed with the grandparents. Right.
That's so true. Yes.
And I'm not an expert in biology, but as far as my knowledge goes, everybody has been a child,
Mhm.
right? So
Yes.
you have this system you already have in yourself, and that's a very good thing, right? Just do whatever you can to get to the deal, and that's a very good sales um, skill.
Yeah.
And
It's also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
why do I say friends and family? Any idea?
Probably the same reason, right? I mean, you'll get some friends and family that'll say no, but you'll also get some of those that'll say yes and be there with you. Um, right? Or is it because of the support? How would you explain that one?
Well, let's say that you I've been to a restaurant, right? And the whole experience was just a wow experience, right? Not only the food was marvelous, the waitress was super friendly, there was great ambiance, great music, not too loud, just perfect. After the main course, the chef came to our table and asked if, based on our earlier choices, he could make a special dessert for us.
Wow.
And a week later, we're still talking about this restaurant, this experience. And I meet you on the street, and I know that you love food and such an experience as well. So I start telling you, Nina, whenever you get a chance, you have to go to visit this restaurant. You know,
Yeah.
it's just wow, it's amazing. What am I doing at that very moment?
Oh, yeah. Well, you're spreading the word, right?
Well, I'm selling the restaurant to you
Yeah,
because when
absolutely.
you
It's
go
like a
to the
good
restaurant,
movie. Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
I've sold
Yeah.
you the restaurant, but I'm not
Mhm.
getting a free meal for that. I'm not getting paid for it. The
Mhm.
only thing
Mhm.
I want is for you to have the same experience as I had.
Right. Right.
But
That's
you're
really
actually
good.
selling at that moment.
Mhm. Yeah, you are. You are. And the other good thing about the analogies that you're using is that you're gonna get no's, right? So like the kid example for example, when he first asked the mom said no. But that didn't stop him, right? They still
Yeah,
had to go and figure it out. And I think that in sales, we have to understand that that's okay. That if someone says no, they're not rejecting you. They just don't really see what the value is right now, or they don't really need it right now, whatever that is. There has been many times, Erwin, when I have said no to someone and I keep thinking about it, and then like 6 to 8 months later I'm ready, and then I go for it.
yeah,
I've done that, and I think that people need to be okay with that. I think a lot of it is fear of rejection, fear of being, maybe they think people won't like them if they're pestering them like they think salespeople are. But you're right. When somebody tells you about a restaurant or something, like I use the example of a piece of gum. If I'm asking people, do you want a piece of gum? And they say no, the next person says yes. Well, the next person said yes and got a piece of gum. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you sometimes have to think about it that way. It's literally just conversation, right?
exactly. You know, my definition of selling is helping the other person to make the right decision that will
Mm-hmm.
create a win-win situation and give
Mm-hmm.
both parties a great feeling.
Yeah,
So you're
that's
not
it.
actually selling, you're advising, you're helping the client to make the right decision.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about when people come to you, like say they're listening right now and they're like, you know what, I really like Erwin. I like who he is as a person. I think I like his energy. What do you do with your clients? How do you take them through your process? What is it that you're doing with them right now?
I've always have a free conversation with potential clients because coaching it's a, I would almost a face to face. It's an interpersonal relationship you're building.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a love relationship, but when you're working with somebody for a fair amount of time, you have some sort of relationship. So there has to be a click with between the two.
Yeah.
So I always have a free conversation to see if I'm the right match for the client, and the client
Mhm.
should feel that as well. You
Mhm.
know, we're talking about the challenges they have, what they want to achieve, and based on that, I can give them an advice which of my services would best fit them.
Mhm.
And if they want to become a client, I'm more than happy. If they don't want to become a client, that's fine with me as well. I always want to give them at least some sort of tips or a little piece of insight that will help them.
Yeah. That's
And
good.
if it's not my expertise, I have enough people in my network that I can recommend for them.
That's great. So say we're talking, well, we are talking. So those who are listening, and me and you are talking, like if you had to give somebody a tip or two on how to recognize or try to get rid of an imposter syndrome. Let's just go with that.
hmm
What would you say? What would you say to them to either recognize it or try to start combating it? How would you address that?
I always say that the subconscious mind has much more knowledge than a conscious mind.
Yeah.
For instance, if you look at ways people make a decision, we think we use our mind or brain or logic to make decisions, but we're actually not. We make a decision based on feelings and emotions,
Mhm.
and we use our rationale to validate the decision we've made. So if you're in doubt or it doesn't feel right, listen to that feeling, listen to your gut feeling, because
Mhm.
it probably knows best.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest fears of people is speaking in public, right?
Mhm.
And people have this ideal image of themselves, and they start comparing that with the person they feel right now, and it's the mismatch between the two will make them nervous, and the bigger the mismatch, the bigger the nerves are playing a role. The only thing you need to know is you have to be the same person that got up that very
Yeah.
morning,
Good.
right?
Yeah.
um, if you make a mistake, you're the only one who knows to make the mistake, right? The audience
Right.
wouldn't notice, so you're the only.
Right.
So don't be afraid of making a mistake. Just accept it, and go on.
Yeah, you know what that sounds like too is really, I guess that's what you're helping them with, is discovering who they really are. Like, what they really are experts in, what they really know how to do. Because when you're aligned with who you are, you will naturally be able to speak in front of people, talk to people about what it is you do, give people your processes, right? Because you're naturally walking in who you really are. You don't have to
Yeah,
make up anything, right? Do you feel that way?
exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's great that you brought it up because, um, to put it very boldly, you shouldn't care what people think of you.
Yeah.
And what I mean with that if you're speaking, it's all about adding value to the audience, right? I always say that people listen to the favorite radio station, WIIFM, which is short for What's in it for me, right? So
I love that.
you have to tune into their radio station. What's in it for them,
Right.
right?
Right.
So when you're
Right.
speaking, don't don't have those thoughts about what will the audience think of me. How do I look? Do I look okay? Well, they're not there to look at you, right?
Right.
Unless you're
Right.
very handsome,
Right.
but they're not there to look at. They're there to listen. What's in it for me,
Right.
right? So it's
Yep.
about the message you're delivering.
Yep. Yep.
So, which means that if your focus is on the audience, you don't need to worry about yourself, and that makes speaking a lot easier.
It does. And I think you also have to, those of you who are listening, and Erwin has been saying this, is, just really aligning with who you are as a person too, because you can draw from your experiences, right? People want to know what your experiences are and why you're the expert in this field, right? Like when I speak to a mom or something and she'll say, "Oh, but I don't really have any skills." And I'm like, "Okay, let's pause there for a second, And okay, so you don't know how to do this and yeah, I do. Oh, you do? Or you do this and you do this and before you know it, she has like two lists full of things that she does extremely well without even thinking. And I think that, Erwin, I think that's what's happening to a lot of us, right? Being on social media all the time, watching what's going on there all the time, we start to lose ourselves in what we think that other person is doing better, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's also, we like to uh we're social animals, right? So we want
Mhm.
to be around people, which
Mhm.
means that in order to fit in, you start adjusting yourself to the crowd, right? And you do that your whole life. And when you're doing that too much, you're losing the connection with who you truly are.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know the game Tetris, right?
Yes, of
But they
course.
have this T-shirt that says Tetris taught me that if you try to fit in, you'll disappear, and that's what it is, right? you
Yeah.
you have to,
Yeah.
especially when you're an entrepreneur, you have to stand out. You have to be your true authentic self. What
Yeah.
I also say in my sessions a lot is that no matter what people tell you, there's one skill that you master the best of the world that nobody can even come close to, and that's being you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
and go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
the moment you're truly connected with yourself, you're aligned with yourself, who you are, what you are, then you're the best version of yourself.
And it's the best version for everyone else too.
Exactly.
Because when you are like, I love this conversation because you are who you are too, Erwin, but I really jive with what you're saying. And I I'm an NLP master practitioner as well, and I love that, right? I love it. It's the same thing that happened to you happened to me, and we're in two different worlds, right, Erwin? We have different backgrounds, different views of life, different maps on how we got here, but yet we connect on this area, right? When it comes to mindset and helping people and bringing them forward. And when I heard about NLP, I had no idea what that was. Like, what the heck is NLP? What does that even mean? And then I started to find out about it, fell in love with it, and I realized that I had so much in life that I didn't know. And it was it's so exciting to know that I don't know that, and that I have to learn. I love
Yeah.
learning. That's like one of my things. I love learning. And obviously you do too, with all the experience and degrees and certifications and everything you're doing. My goodness.
I call myself the eternal student.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. I love it. I love everything that you're about. I love what you're doing. And I know that, people who are listening are saying, okay, yes, I think Erwin's speaking my language, especially if you're like, a female or in tech and things like that. I mean, Erwin could be your guy. So, Erwin, before we wrap it up, I do want my audience to know, though, how they can connect with you because you are currently you're working right now. You're coaching, right? You're taking clients and all that great stuff, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
Great. So how do they connect with you to get that, free consultation call to at least, get to know you and see if you guys can work together? How do we find you?
Well, of course, I can go directly to my website, millionairelifestrategy.com, but they can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I won't say I'm all over the place, but LinkedIn is my favorite social media channel. And yeah, there's a calendar link there that they can book a free consultation
Oh,
call.
great.
And yeah, they're more than welcome to book it.
That's awesome. See, I love my audience because they're very, very good at listening, and I mean, I get such amazing feedback, great reviews about guests like you who come on because they get nuggets all the time. And I love that you drop the nuggets on the imposter syndrome, like what it looks like, how you have to connect with yourself, align with who you are. All of that speaks my language, and I know that all my straight talkers that speaks their language too. That's what I call my crew, my people out there, because it is about straight talking. It's about learning who you really are, being straight about that. You don't have to be a chameleon for anybody. Just be who you are. I promise you, the world will accept you for who you are, as long as you're not hurting, communities and hurting people, and you're just trying to find who you are. I believe in helping others, like you, Erwin. I love that you adopted your boys. That's awesome. I love that you used your technique on them as well. Did that help them, by the way? I didn't even ask you. I wanted to ask you that in the beginning. Did that
Yeah.
help them?
Well, I always say yes and no
Yeah.
because no, because as a parent, you can't be the therapist of your own children as well,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
have to keep that separated. So for the
Mhm.
true therapy work and coaching work, I'm using my fellow entrepreneurs.
Awesome.
But yes, it certainly helped my boys because when you work on yourself, you're also changing the environment for them.
Mhm.
You know, so
That's
indirectly, it
good.
definitely has
Yeah.
an effect on them.
Yeah.
Usage of language is very important. You know,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
so we're very aware of that, both myself and my wife. So yes, it helped them, and no, because we're also using the other experts on that field.
I love that though, because I love what you just said too, right? In order to help them and change them, and this is for everyone who's listening, you change yourself first. If you can change yourself first for the better, everything starts to fall in line because kids watch you. They watch what you do, they watch how you behave, they watch how you act. They watch you more than they listen, you
and
know?
that can be very painful sometimes.
Right? Yes, it can.
They're a
Oh
great
my gosh.
mirror.
Yes, they are. Oh, it's so true. But Erwin, thank you so much for hanging out with us on Straight Talk. I'm really grateful that you came on and shared your knowledge and wisdom with us. And I know that my beautiful community is enjoying this conversation. So I just want to thank you for taking the time to be here. I'm grateful.
I'm grateful to be your guest, Nina. I'd love to talk to you once more.
Oh, yeah, anytime. I'd love it. I'd love it. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know that you guys are busy and that you're all entrepreneurs and all out there as leaders and doing all this great stuff, but you need to pause. You need to pause and listen to what Erwin said. Pause and listen to yourself and understand that you bring value to the world. You bring value to the world. So thank you guys for being here. I love you so much. This is Nina Perez. This is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Until next time.